Summer is literally peak season for fresh, flavorful fruits and veggies. A perfect time to shake up your meals with some healthy ideas that we hope that the whole family will enjoy, from the grown-ups all the way to the kids. So joining us today is Cone Health dietitian Penny Crumpton with Cone Health Nutrition and Diabetes Education Services. So let's talk about this, because we're going to be sharing some meal planning ideas for picking, prepping, and enjoying all of this. What are some of the biggest health benefits for eating in season?
Well, thanks for asking me these great questions. As an avid gardener and a provider of lifestyle medicine, I couldn't help but agree more with the value of fruits and vegetables and their volume of fiber, vitamins and minerals, and water content that will help us lower our cholesterol, lower our blood sugar, lower our blood pressure, help us maintain that healthy weight, and also improve our digestive health.
All right, let's start with how we can do it, because sometimes we need a few ideas, a few suggestions to get us started. Let's start with breakfast. What are some fast and fresh ways to enjoy summer produce first thing in the morning?
Well, we love to have our oatmeal for whole fiber, adding lots of berries, using a Greek yogurt for a protein source, having a nice bowl of cantaloupe or berries on the side. For those that prefer more of a hot meal, definitely cutting up those fresh veggies, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, spinach, mixing it with some egg whites, having some whole wheat bread on the side with a nice slice of fresh watermelon.
All right, so we got all the food. We got the fruits and the veggies in there with that egg mixture there. Okay, so midday meals, they can be a little tricky in the heat. What are your go-to healthy summer lunch ideas that don't weigh us down?
Well, a caprese salad is really nice because we've got sliced tomatoes, we've got mozzarella. You slice that with the tomatoes, put some of that fresh basil and drizzle it with some balsamic vinaigrette, and that makes a wonderful lunch, easy to go. Also a spinach salad or kale salad for those that like a little bit warmer lunch but easy on the stomach. You can definitely do a Mediterranean salmon patties with a nice spinach salad on the side.
Okay, so you got your protein, but you also got your veggies all at the same time. Dinner time, let's talk about an easy way to build dinner around seasonal produce.
Well, I love to use the grill, and for those of you who have a black stock grill, those are the wonderful things to use this time of year. Cutting up our vegetables of squash and zucchini, mixing in some grilled fruit in there to season it up, make it nice, taste sweet. Eggplant, squash, zucchini. If you want to put some fresh fish that you might have caught on the coast or some salmon with that, it makes a completely wonderful dinner meal, and adding it with a nice bowl of fresh fruit for a nice dessert.
All right, what I'm not hearing is potatoes, the starchy vegetables.
Oh, well, you can use sweet potatoes. Yeah, everybody has potatoes, but you know, sweet potatoes this time of year are excellent. They're high in fiber, so they help fill us up, make us feel full, that digestive health, and certainly help us with that blood sugar control.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's talk about some snacks, because a lot of times a snack can be more than just something that you eat. It can be giving you water in your body. It can give you hydration.
Absolutely. So our berries and fruits and fresh fruits and vegetables are very high in water content. So sometimes people will freeze grapes and have those. Watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew melon, they're about 80% water. So they're going to hydrate us and make us feel really full and refreshing, and keep those hot temperatures in a cool place in us.
Speaking of the hot temperatures, let's talk about some food safety, because summertime is famous for all the picnics and the cookouts and stuff like that, which means food sits out somewhat.
Right. So when we're gathering with family and friends at cookouts, we really want to make sure we're each and all safe. So we want to keep our cold foods cold, and that requires us to keep our temperatures of our foods that we're bringing to cookouts at about 40 degrees or below. And you can transport those in a cooler over ice packs. So we definitely want to keep those below 40 degrees to keep the bacterial content down. And then our hot grilled foods, we want to keep those at 140 degrees or higher to reduce the risk of bacteria and foodborne illnesses. So making sure we keep those in the oven or on the grill or on the stove, and keeping that thermometer handy to be checking those temperatures right before serving.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about picking the produce. What are your recommendations for choosing the ripe in-season fruits like melons, berries, or peaches? Because it seems like I guess wrong.
Well, I like to use my senses, and so smell is my most important sense. So when I can smell the ripeness of a cantaloupe or a melon, even a pineapple, you can flip that upside down and smell the bottom of it, and it'll tell you the sweetness as well. Visions, we want to look at, the bright colors, the plump freshness of the berries. For watermelon, we want to look at the underside of the watermelon where it lays on the ground, and that yellow belly, as they call it, will really help us get a good idea how sweet that watermelon's going to be. And then I also suggest you use the 2 fingers. So if your width of the stripes of the watermelon is 2 fingers wide, that usually means that it's at its right peak fullness for maturity and sweetness.
Who
For
knew?
peaches, you can smell those.
That's a really interesting fun fact. The 2 fingers, and we're going to put that in between each one of the watermelon lines.
If you can buy your fresh produce, the vegetables, even local stuff, you can get them much riper, and the smell and the taste is going to be much better with getting us fresh fruits and vegetables. So peaches are a good smell. You want to make sure that there's no bruising or indentation. If they're crammed in a container, then they're going to be squished, and that's going to create a level of skin breakdown and deterioration, which then might make it rot much faster.
All right, let's talk about what happens when we get them home, and should we wash them? Should we not wash them? How do we store them? It seems it's very easy to get it wrong.
That is true, and lots of people do, and I'm one that's made one mistake in that area before. But first of all, you want to just dry off your vegetables and put them in the crisper in the drawer. Don't store them in the bags where you weigh them at the grocery store, because that creates moisture barrier, and moisture creates bacteria and skin breakdown, and so your food's going to deteriorate. But put them in a ventilated container. And then when you get ready to cook them or eat them or prepare them, then you want to wash them, because that moisture is going to break down the berries. So I bought a case of a flat of strawberries one night and washed them the night before and came to them in the morning, and they were nothing but mold. So that was a waste of good strawberries that I hated to ruin. So I learned the lesson the hard way.
Gotcha. Okay. And each one has their own specific thing of what you need to do. When you wash them, what should you wash them with?
You can wash them with 1 part water and 3 parts vinegar. So in terms of helping to reduce any pesticides and things like that, but just lightly washing them. You don't need to soak them for long periods of time, again, because that's going to create bacteria.
All right, we've got about 1 minute. Grilling is super popular in the summer. What fruits or veggies are great on the grill that people might not think to try?
So try some eggplant sometime. Try some different fruits, plums, figs. I've never tried it, but watermelon seems to be a thing that you can grill on the grill and mix in with your vegetables to add a level of sweetness. Pineapple is something that we probably all know about, but I would try some eggplant. Beets would be another one that you can really mix in with some of those good vegetables and really make your meal complete.
Watermelon, eggplant, and beets. You are right. 3 things I have never thought to grill before. So
That's
that might be a
right.
new
See?
thing for this summer. So thank you so much, Penny. We so appreciate it. If you missed any of this, this is going to be in the To Your Well-Being section of our website.